got to be honest, I feel a bit flustered this morning. Yeah, looking at the weather forecast last night, and the forecasters gave really nice conditions for the west coast of Lancashire. So I decided to come to a place called Plover Scar Lighthouse, which is just south of Heysham, and I photographed it before and I was really pleased with the results that I got then. But anyway, I set off this morning. The sun rises at 6 o'clock. I left home about 4:30, got 2 or 3 miles down the road and realised I'd forgot my Wellingtons, so I had to dash back. So I've just arrived, probably got about 40 minutes before the sun comes up, and I've got approximately about 1 kilometre to walk from where I've parked the car. But I think I'm in good time. The problem is that where they were forecasting clear skies on the east and cloudy on the west, which is perfect for sunrise along our coastline, I've actually got the opposite. So I've got clear skies out to sea and cloudy skies, and you can see that to the east. It's not blanket cloud, and it may well work, but when I think about the last time I came here, I got a beautiful shot, and I will be hard pressed to beat it. And one of my other concerns this morning is the tide. Ideally you want a completely low tide for shooting this location, I suppose lighthouses in general, unless they're on land. But this one, when I did it last time, it was very low tide. I can't remember actually what the tide height was, but this morning's low tide was perfect. It was 1 metre or 1 point something, but very low. And when I get there this morning, it's going to be around about the 3.5 metre mark and rising. So I don't know. At the moment, I can see the lighthouse in the distance, and it is on dry land. So we'll just have to get over there and see what happens. So I got here, obviously, set the camera up, yomped across the slippy pebbles there, so if you do come, be careful, it is quite slippery underfoot. I'm just looking at the clouds, and they're clearly still quite strong on the horizon there. I'm not convinced the sun's going to break through, and just looking at the water levels, it's fine at the moment, but like I say, it's going to be about 3.5 metres when I need to be shooting, which is literally in the next 15 minutes or so. Tide at the moment is probably about 50 feet away, but at least with this spot you've got a good escape route, because to get back to the car you're literally walking uphill quite steeply back to the grassy bank and safety. So I don't think there's any dangers of being cut off. This shot really suits the vertical composition. I'm just pulling the grad down now, just on the horizon, checking the level, which is about right. We're not a million miles away anyway. There. I've got quite a strong lead in. I've got like a rocky shelf just to the left of the frame and a pool to the right, and I've got the lighthouse just sat on the left hand third. I'm probably not going to wing quite as close as what I have done previously. Try a slightly different shot. Don't see the point of repeating every shot, even though the last one was superb that I did, or I was really happy with it anyway. So the lighthouse is on the left hand third, it's also on the upper third, and I've got this rocky shelf just leading the eye into the image. Currently I'm on f16 and I'm getting 1 second exposure at ISO 100. So I'm just going to leave it at that now, stand around and wait and see if the sun does its thing. Just looking around to see if there's any other shots to be had while I'm waiting for the sun to come up. I think the early dawn colours are pretty much now, and I don't think I'm going to get them above the lighthouse, but you never know. So I'm just looking at whether these pools are something that I could work on while I'm waiting, because I think there's another option when the sun comes up, and there'll be some nice light on the lighthouse. I keep wanting to say windmill. I don't know why. I suppose it's a bit windmill-like, isn't it? Just a windmill without the sails. I don't think there's a shot there, I've got to be honest. It's a bit too messy for my liking. Got some nice clouds, but you just need more than that. You need some good compositional foreground, which that hasn't got. The back end of last year, the lighthouse was hit by a ship, and I was looking online to see if I could find out the tide heights for the actual lighthouse itself, and I found out that it'd actually been hit. So I was frantically last night looking online to try and find out whether it was still in pieces or not, and there's pictures of it with scaffolding around the entire thing and a big crane, and the top of the lighthouse was sort of sat on the embankment over there. But it's nice to see that they've actually put it back exactly as it was. They've not renewed it particularly. I think they've painted the top, and they may have painted the white band at the top of the first section, I don't know, but it still looks rusty. Now whether that's come back, I don't know, because the rusty band at the top is what gives the whole thing character. When you get it processed on the computer, that red rust really comes out and makes helps to make the image. So I don't know whether they painted it and it's just come back. I really no idea, but I'm pleased to see it's still there. But they've done an amazing job of restoring it. It doesn't look like a brand new lighthouse as I thought it might. So yeah, well done to the restoration team. Good effort. Can hear oyster catcher just behind me. Beautiful sound. It's just what makes these places. Well, the tide is coming in, but it's not as fast as I feared it might be. I still think we're in with a chance. I think the sun in the next 10-15 minutes could break above that cloud there on the horizon. I'm still hopeful. So I've just moved over here. I decided in the end it wasn't quite right. The stone edging to the left hand side of the frame was just too heavy. Wasn't quite a strong enough diagonal to really make it was alright at first, but the more and more I looked at it, the more and more I disliked it. And I only decided that really when I saw the image on the back of the LCD monitor. And it's often the case with me that when I look through the viewfinder, what looks right initially, well, when I actually get round to taking a shot and analysing it on the back of the screen, it actually looks slightly different, and I don't know why that is. I've just got a better eye for seeing a scene once it's been taken. I don't know whether it's because all the chaos around the image is taken away and you only see the actual shot. I don't know, but when I sort of stand there and look through the viewfinder and sort of weigh the image up, I do struggle sometimes. It's just one of the problems that I have. But anyway, I've moved and I'm much happier with that. Now ideally I'd like to pop the image on live view so you can have a look at the scene as I see it, but unfortunately because the camera's on a vertical composition it doesn't really work. It flips the whole thing, and yeah, you just see the video on the So I'll try and explain. I've got the pool, as you can see, in the foreground here, and what I'm using is this line of rock creates a strong diagonal from the bottom right hand side that takes it slightly up to the left hand side of the frame on the left hand third, and then it makes this turn here back into the image, so it creates this sort of zigzag effect that follows this line here as well. All in all, that shape helps to lead your eye to the lighthouse. And because we've got flat, smooth rocks in the foreground, it takes away a lot of the chaos that you would otherwise get when you're just using all these boulders as foreground, which is what I was finding when I was over there. I had a bit of smooth rock in the foreground, but there was some messy boulders to the right hand side, and these other boulders here, which are quite close to the camera, were also causing confusion. So this nice smooth surface is just a great, easy, nice composition, uncluttered, that helps to lead your eye in with these strong diagonal lines through the first third of the shot. And then what I've done is I've got the horizon on the top third running directly through the top of the scene, and the lighthouse is placed slightly left of centre, also on that top third line. So perfect composition. But yeah, sorry I can't show you on live view on this occasion, but hopefully you get what I mean and you'll see the actual image at the end of the video. So I don't know about this sun, just briefly, a couple of seconds when I was talking, then it pipped over the clouds, and I was hopeful, but the clouds have beaten it back again. So I don't know, really don't know what's going to happen, but that's landscape photography for you. Just got to wait, keep your fingers crossed and hope that the weather gods do their thing. So settings are pretty much as before. f16, quarter of a second, ISO 100, 0.6 Lee, neutral density grad to hold the sky back, seems to be enough, and I'm underexposing by 2/3 of a stop. I've not put a polarizer on, simply because this pool in the foreground, I think it's important that we see the reflective surface of it. With the polarizer, you'll obviously cut through that. You just see the base of the rock. It's very, very shallow, and you won't get the impression of the pool being there at all. So it would spoil the image. I think on this occasion, I think the reflective surface is really important for it to stand out. So I'm not putting one on. Checking the test shot, looks really nice. Really nice. So the sun is out finally, getting the light on that rock on the left hand side now, just picking up, helping to define that pool. So that's the first shot in the bag. That looks alright. Histogram, nothing wrong with that. Maybe just a slight bit of clipping on the highlights, so I'll just take it down to underexposed by 2/3 of a stop. Beautiful, beautiful. It just goes to show sometimes you just got to be patient. Not one of my greatest assets, but there you go. Nice one. Thing is, now I'm going to keep taking images, and I've got it, but you just can't help but keep shooting. It's almost like you don't trust it. I think that comes certainly for me from the days of using transparency film, when you never really knew, you couldn't see the actual image, so you just keep shooting with different apertures, under and overexposing, just in the hope that you get one. And I think that's a habit that I just can't seem to break. And I bet there's a lot of you watching this now that are thinking, I'm just like that. But I should stop. I have got it. It's a lovely image. Yes. Thank you. So that's me done, packed up, ready for home. I'm getting a little bit concerned. The pool in the background there started to fill up quite quickly, and you've got to be really careful with tides. You've got to really watch and make sure you've got a good escape route. So I'm done. I'm quite happy with the shot that I got this morning. The sun's now quite high in the sky, so the best of the light's gone. So it's time for me to get out of here. So all that leaves to say is thank you again for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe and even leave some comments. They always mean a lot, and I will try to get back to them as soon as possible. So bye for now.